What's going on, YouTube fishing fam? It's your boy Has back at it again with another episode, and today I'm out here gonna fillet some fish. We're gonna do something different this time, show you guys how to fillet fish. Specific fish that I'm talking about today is carp. I use it for bait for catfish, and I'm most famous and notorious for buying carp in the Asian market. One time I actually paid $65 for 2 carp that were alive. Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. That's a story for another day. We ain't gonna talk about that. But today what we are gonna talk about is to fillet your fish. Now, caught these fish yesterday. Big shout out to Richard, Montana. I caught 1 carp. Well, really I caught 2 carp. I caught 1 carp on my live channel, on my live show. And then I met up with Richard. He already had 3 carp ready for me on the stringer. And then when I got there, a rod went off and he let me fight in the fish and ended up being my new PB. I didn't weigh it. It was probably around like 15, 16 pounds. But yeah, he's a monster, Mondo, big carp. So I have all these carp. My freezer's filled up with food and such, so I don't have space for a whole fish. But if I chop them down into pieces and then let it sit in its own blood, we'll be able to freeze them and then be able to thaw them out and use them later on the boat anytime. So we'll have carp basically for the next month, plenty of fish. So let me, without further ado, let's get right into this video and I'll show you guys how to fillet it. The most important piece is having yourself a nice, sharp fillet knife. These carp, they have some very, very, very tough scales. Right behind the gill plates. Come on down the belly. Cut down the middle. Come down the back of the spine. And once again, separate that meat from the rib cage. There you have it. Another fillet. Flip it right over and get right into fillet number 2. Now you're gonna go right behind the gill plate, following it down. Make your incision, you'll feel it. And then just follow the spine all the way down the back of the fish. And then you come right out the tail. And then right down the rib cage again. You're using your hand. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use this hand right here to pull the meat away, and then you're just gonna keep running against the rib cage. Take your time, don't rush. All right, especially if it's your first time. You don't wanna cut yourself. These fillet knives are very, very, very sharp. So just take your time and just keep running right against the rib cage. right, now let's get there we go, fillet number 2. Let's cut the bottom off. Two Mondo fillets right here. This is a lot of catfish bait right here, guys. A lot of catfish bait. And even though I'm cutting them into strips like this, sometimes I'll even just cut the bait in half. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. Like, especially wintertime. When I'm wintertime fishing for catfish, I use small baits just because they get finicky. So this piece right here, I would just boom, cut it in half. Because if you leave a long strip, you got the hook up here, the catfish bites down here and your hook's up here and he doesn't swallow, he doesn't engulf it, he's gonna miss the hook. But when you cut it in half, now you're only working with this much and you put the hook right here, he's not missing that hook. You will catch small fish, but you will catch big fish too. I've caught big fish on small 1 inch by 1 inch cut baits. I've caught 52 and 62 pound catfish on small cut baits. You do not need Mondo baits to catch Mondo catfish. Mondo baits will, if you throw Mondo baits, they will weed out the smaller catfish. So if you're trophy catfish hunting, and you don't want all the little dinks biting your bait, throw a big piece on, something that they can't get. Because it's not about the hook size. If you throw a big hook with a small piece of bait, it's still gonna catch dinks. 10-aught, 11-aught, 12-aught hooks, they're still big, their mouths, the catfish mouths are still big enough to get hooked. The dinks are still big enough to get hooked by those little pieces of bait. I mean by those big hooks. So it's about throwing a big piece of bait. Let's bag them up. This carp right here, this is what I'll bring out on a day where I'm going to be out there 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours on the boat. I'm definitely going to bring this bag right here. When I have a fish like this, after I'm done filleting it, you put this fish upstream, put the whole carcass in the river upstream, then you throw your baits downstream and watch the fish come. This will entice big bites. And the last one, Mondo carp number 2. This is gonna make, I'm gonna put all this in 1 too as well. This is gonna make for a great day of fishing, guys. We're stocked up for a month at least on carp. At least a month. I can't wait to get out there and go after some big old catfish. Right now we want to get these guts out of here and get as much blood as possible into the bag. I'm gonna put the head in the bag with it, and that way the head will just bleed out right into the bag. There we have it, guys. Carp ready to go. Now I gotta clean off all this mess.